when a struggling single father and his bright young daughter accidentally crash an elite charity gala. They encounter a ruthless CEO whose frozen heart begins to thaw, until a corporate betrayal forces them to choose between two worlds colliding. The celestial Grand Hotel's crystal chandeliers cast diamonds of light across marble floors. A charity gala is in full swing: tuxedos, evening gowns, champagne flutes catching the golden glow. Daniel Hart, 34, stands frozen in the doorway, his daughter Maya's small hand gripped in his. His navy blazer, the only one he owns, is slightly too tight across the shoulders. Maya, age 7, wears a white dress her grandmother made, her dark curls bouncing as she stares wide-eyed at the opulence. "Daddy," she whispers, "are we in a palace?" Daniel's jaw tightens. What was I thinking? The invitation had been a mistake, addressed to Dr. Daniel Hart at his old hospital. He hadn't been a doctor in 3 years. Not since the malpractice lawsuit that wasn't his fault but destroyed him anyway. "We should go," he murmurs. "But you RSVP'd, and I wore Grandma's special dress." A hush falls over the crowd. Victoria Ashford, 36, CEO of Ashford Industries, enters like winter itself. Platinum blonde hair swept into an immaculate chignon. A black gown that costs more than Daniel's yearly rent. Her eyes, ice blue, scan the room with the precision of a predator. Her assistant Marcus whispers financial projections in her ear. She doesn't smile. Hasn't smiled in public in 5 years, not since her company nearly collapsed, and she rebuilt it through sheer force of will. Maya tugs Daniel's hand, pulling him deeper into the crowd, just as Victoria passes. Their shoulders brush. "Excuse me," Daniel says quickly. Victoria stops, turns. Her gaze drops to Maya, then rises to Daniel with unmistakable assessment. "Not one of us." "This is a private event," she says, her voice carved from marble. I received an invitation. Dr. Daniel Hart?" Her eyebrow arches. "You're a doctor?" The way she says it, like she's caught him in a lie, makes his throat constrict. "Mommy never lets me come to her work parties," Maya interrupts, looking up at Victoria with innocent curiosity. "But you're not my mommy. Are you lonely too?" The question lands like a stone in still water. Victoria's expression flickers, just for a microsecond, before hardening again. "I don't get lonely." "Everyone gets lonely," Maya says with the certainty only children possess. A harried event coordinator rushes over, clipboard clutched like a shield. "Dr. Hart? Oh, there's been a terrible mistake. Your table was reallocated." "We weren't expecting." "It's fine," Daniel says quickly, already backing away. "We'll leave." "Table 12 has space," Victoria says suddenly. Every head turns. The coordinator pales. "Miss Ashford, that's the VIP table. The mayor, I'm aware of my own seating arrangements." Her tone could freeze fire. "Add 2 chairs." Daniel wants to refuse. Pride screams at him to walk out. But Maya's eyes are shining with wonder, and he hasn't been able to give her wonder in so long. "Thank you," he says quietly. Victoria's gaze holds his for a beat too long. "Don't thank me yet." Table 12 is a battlefield disguised as fine dining. Mayor Richardson, silver-haired and calculating. Congressman Wedd and his wife, dripping in diamonds. A tech mogul named Preston, who speaks only in numbers. And Victoria, presiding over it all like a queen made of ice. Daniel and Maya sit at the edge, invisible, until they're not. "So, doctor," Preston says, swirling his scotch. "What's your specialty? Cosmetic surgery? That's where the real money is." "I was an ER physician," Daniel says. "Trauma surgery." "Was." Mrs. Wedd's laugh is crystalline and cruel. "Career change?" Something like that. Maya reaches for her water glass, and Daniel gently corrects her grip. Victoria notices everything. Danny works 3 jobs now, Maya announces proudly. He drives for people at night, and delivers food, and fixes computers, and he never sleeps. But he says it's okay, because I'm worth it. The table falls silent. Preston snorts. 3 jobs? Isn't that inefficient? It's called survival, Daniel says, his voice level but his knuckles white against his napkin. A waiter approaches, young, smug, trained to recognize who matters. He serves the table with practiced elegance until he reaches Daniel and Maya. The plates hit the table with slightly too much force. Will that be all? The sneer is barely concealed. Maya's water glass is empty. Could we? Water service is for reserved guests. He's already turning away. Excuse me. Victoria's voice cuts like a scalpel. You'll fill her glass, and you'll apologize for your tone, or you'll find yourself unemployed before dessert is served. The waiter blanches, stammers an apology, fills the glass with shaking hands. Daniel stares at Victoria. She doesn't meet his eyes. Why did you do that? He asks quietly. I don't tolerate incompetence. But there's something else beneath the words, something she won't name. Dinner continues with stilted conversation. Maya picks at her food, then looks at Victoria with those devastatingly direct eyes children have. Why is everyone scared of you? Maya, Daniel gasps. But Victoria laughs. Sharp and brief, like she's surprised herself. Because fear is efficient. Respect takes too long. My daddy says respect is when someone stays because they want to, not because they have to. Victoria's expression shifts. For just a moment, the ice cracks. Your father is idealistic. He's the best person in the world, Maya says simply. Daniel's throat tightens. He blinks hard. Victoria stands to deliver her keynote speech. The room quiets. She's 2 sentences in, something about quarterly projections and market dominance, when her words slur. Her hand grips the podium. Sweat beads on her perfect forehead. Ms. Ashford? Marcus stands, concerned. She blinks hard. The room tilts, and then she's falling. Daniel moves before thought. Years of ER training override everything. He catches her before she hits the floor, easing her down with practiced care. The ballroom erupts in chaos. Everyone back! Daniel's voice carries command. Give her space. Someone call 911. His fingers find her pulse. Rapid, thready. Her breathing is shallow. He loosens the collar of her gown, checks her pupils. Hypoglycemia, he mutters. When did she last eat? Marcus hovers, useless. She doesn't eat at events, says it's a waste of time. Maya, my jacket pocket, there's a granola bar. Bring it, now. Maya runs. Returns in seconds. Daniel breaks off small pieces, coaxing them past Victoria's lips. Victoria, Victoria, can you hear me? I need you to chew. Small bites. Her eyes flutter open, disoriented, vulnerable. She sees him above her, his face tight with concentration, and for the first time in years, she's not in control. What? She whispers. You collapsed. Blood sugar crash. The ambulance is coming, but we need to get glucose in you now. She tries to sit up. He gently but firmly holds her in place. Don't move. Let your body stabilize. I'm not. Weak? Human? Yeah. Shocking. His voice is soft, but there's an edge. Even ice queens have to eat. Victoria. The paramedics arrive. Daniel briefs them with medical precision. Symptoms, timeline, vitals, intervention. They stare at him. You're a doctor? Was, long time ago. They take over. But one lingers. You saved her life. If she'd hit her head on that marble. Daniel watches them load Victoria onto a stretcher. She's conscious now, insisting she's fine, refusing to go to the hospital until her eyes find his across the crowd. There's something in her gaze. Gratitude, yes, but also confusion. Who are you? Maya tugs his hand. Is the pretty lady okay? She will be. You were like a superhero daddy. He kneels down, cupping her face. I just remembered how to be what I used to be. 2 hours later, Daniel gets a text from an unknown number. Celestial Hotel, Suite 2401. We need to talk. VA. He should ignore it. Take Maya home to their studio apartment, make her hot chocolate, read her a bedtime story. But something pulls him back. He finds Victoria in a private suite, still in her gown, but barefoot, hair falling from its perfect style. She looks younger. Mortal. How did you get my number? He asks. I'm a CEO. I get what I need. She gestures to a couch. Your daughter? Asleep in the childcare suite downstairs. One of your staff offered. I pay them to be useful. She studies him. You're not what you seem. Neither are you. Victoria pours herself water. No alcohol, he notices. Her hands still tremble slightly. I haven't eaten a full meal in 3 years, she says suddenly. Too busy, too focused, too afraid that if I stop moving, I'll remember what it cost to get here. Daniel says nothing. Waits. My company nearly failed 5 years ago. My CFO embezzled millions. I was engaged to him. Her laugh is bitter. Everyone said I'd collapse, declared me finished. So I burned myself down to atoms and rebuilt as something they couldn't break. By becoming untouchable. By becoming invincible. She looks at him. Until tonight. Until some single father catches me and reminds me I'm still made of flesh. Why 3 jobs? She asks. You're clearly brilliant. A trauma surgeon, that takes years of training, exceptional skill. What happened? He's quiet for a long moment. When he speaks, his voice is raw. 4 years ago, I was one of the top trauma surgeons at County Memorial. I had a wife, a career, a future. Then a patient died on my table. Complications from a pre-existing condition I had no way of knowing about. The family sued. The hospital threw me under the bus to protect themselves. Victoria leans forward. I lost my medical license during the appeals, lost my wife. She couldn't handle the shame, the financial collapse. She left when Maya was 3. Told me I was a failure who'd drag our daughter down with me. And Maya? His eyes shine. Maya is why I'm still breathing. Every morning, when she smiles at me, I remember there's something in this world worth fighting for. The license? Under appeal. But it's been 3 years. And in the meantime, I survive. I drive strangers at 2 a.m. I deliver cold food to people who don't say thank you. I fix computers for tech companies that would have hired me as their medical director in another life. He meets her gaze. I do what I have to do. Victoria is quiet. When she speaks, her voice cracks. You're everything I'm not. I'm broken. You're alive. Victoria's office. 48 hours later. Marcus bursts in, tablet glowing. We have a problem. A video is going viral. Victoria collapsing at the gala, labeled Ice Queen Breaks. But worse, a leaked internal memo from her assistant Sloane, claiming Victoria is mentally unstable, unfit to lead, recommending an emergency board vote to remove her as CEO. Sloane? Victoria's voice is deadly calm. My assistant of 8 years. The board meets in 2 hours. Sloane's behind it. She's been planning a coup with Preston and 3 other board members. They want to install Preston as CEO and divide your shares. Victoria's face goes white, not with fear, with rage. Her phone rings. Unknown number. She answers. It's Daniel. How did you? Your crisis is all over the news, and I have a particular set of skills you might need right now. What skills could possibly? Before medical school, I did forensic accounting, corporate fraud investigation. It paid for my degree. His voice is steady. If someone's staging a coup, there's always a money trail. Always. Why would you help me? A pause. Because Maya asked me why bad people win sometimes. I'd like to show her they don't always. Victoria's apartment, 90 minutes before the board meeting. Daniel arrives with his laptop. Maya colors in the corner. Show me everything, he says. Financial records, communications, stock transfers, everything from the last 6 months. They work in synchronized silence. Victoria feeds him documents. Daniel's fingers fly across the keyboard, pulling up patterns, cross-referencing transactions. There, he points. Sloane's been shorting your company's stock for 3 months. She's betting on you failing. That's illegal. Very. And look here. Payments from a shell company owned by Preston. He's been funding her coup attempt. Victoria's smile is arctic. They thought I'd be too weak to fight back. You're not weak. You're terrifying. Daniel grins. Let's go teach them that. The conference table is lined with sharks in suits. Preston sits at the head, smug. Sloane beside him, perfectly composed. Victoria enters like judgment itself. Daniel follows, carrying a briefcase. This meeting is out of order, Preston announces. We're here to discuss Miss Ashford's fitness to lead. Interesting, Victoria sits. I'm here to discuss your federal indictment. The room freezes. Daniel opens the briefcase, distributing folders. Inside, you'll find evidence of insider trading, stock manipulation, and conspiracy to commit fraud. Mr. Preston and Mrs. Barrett have been orchestrating a hostile takeover funded through illegal shorting of company stock. Sloane's face drains of color. The SEC has been copied on everything, Victoria adds, as has the FBI. You wanted me gone? Congratulations. You're going to prison instead. Preston lunges to his feet. You have no proof. We have 6 months of financial records, encrypted communications you thought you'd deleted, and 3 whistleblowers who've agreed to testify. Daniel's voice is clinical, cold. You wanted to play chess. You forgot she's been playing war. Security escorts Preston and Sloane from the building. The board sits in stunned silence. Victoria stands at the window, watching them led away. Daniel joins her. Thank you, she says quietly. For what? For reminding me that vulnerability isn't weakness. That asking for help isn't defeat. She turns to him. I thought I had to be alone to be strong. Strength isn't isolation, Victoria. It's knowing when to trust someone else to catch you. Maya appears in the doorway. Did you win? Victoria kneels down to her level for the first time. We did. Your father is the bravest person I've ever met. I know, Maya says matter-of-factly. That's why I told you that first night that you looked lonely. I thought maybe Daddy could fix you too. A small cafe, not the kind Victoria would have been caught dead in before. She sits at a corner table, laptop closed, actually eating a sandwich. Daniel and Maya arrive. Maya runs to hug Victoria, who catches her, lifts her, spins her around. The transformation is stunning. How was the appeal hearing? Victoria asks as they sit. Daniel's smile splits his face. They reinstated my license. Maya bounces. Daddy's a doctor again. Not just any doctor, Victoria adds. I may have spoken to the board at County Memorial. They're looking for a new chief of emergency medicine. Someone brilliant, ethical, and impossible to intimidate. Daniel stares. Victoria, it's a job offer, not charity. You'll earn every dollar. But Maya deserves to see her father in his proper place. And she hesitates, vulnerable. I'd like to see that too. They walk through the park as sunset paints the sky gold. Maya runs ahead, chasing pigeons. I spent 5 years building walls, Victoria says, convinced that feeling anything was weakness, that needing anyone was failure. And now. Now I think maybe the strongest thing I've ever done was let a little girl ask me if I was lonely. She stops, faces him. I was, Daniel. I've been lonely for so long, I forgot what warmth felt like. He takes her hand, calloused and strong, holding her manicured one. I can't promise this'll be easy, he says. I'm still rebuilding, still figuring out how to be the man I used to be, I don't want who you used to be. I want who you are, the man who catches people when they fall, who fights for his daughter, who saw through all my armor to the human underneath. Maya runs back, grabs both their hands. Are you guys going to be friends forever? Victoria and Daniel exchange a look. Complicated, hopeful, terrified, alive. Forever is a long time, Victoria says, but I think we can start with today. And tomorrow, Daniel adds. And the day after that, Maya finishes. They walk together into the fading light. 3 broken people who found each other in a ballroom full of strangers and discovered that sometimes the price of dignity is paid in vulnerability, and the reward is something worth more than all the money in the world. 3 silhouettes against a golden sky. A man who learned to stand again. A woman who learned to kneel. And a child who knew all along that the strongest foundations are built on love, not armor.